I mean, Dan Hurley's an amazing head coach, and they just ran the table again in dominant fashion.
But I'm just going to have to go ahead and lock Iowa State in, as repeats are so difficult nowadays. Statistically, Oregon, nothing about Oregon jumps out.
Make sure your watch is timed up.
State, I saw that route. The NC State route was the Texas Tech.
I saw that
you sent a message in the group chat.
I sent a message in the group chat recently. Saturday night. I said, "Go Lobos."
Hi, this is Ben Tomasic, and I won Outsider Opinion's 4th Bracket Challenge. You're listening to Kevin and Austin. Go Texas and hook 'em.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Midwest region video. Once again, we of course have done the bracket through its entirety, but for the viewer by region. So this is a Midwest region video. If you're coming, there's just so many different combinations that I don't want to waste too much time getting into it. But make sure you're competing against our bracket. You have a chance to beat our liner, beat our bracket, earn a liner. We've had 3 people do it so far. Don't feel it's going to happen this year. So make sure you're competing against that, and then you can see what decisions we made. But let's get right into it. The redemption team. We have Houston facing a 16 seed in the Midwest region.
I'll take the Cougs.
Yeah, I'll take the very hot take of Houston.
All right. So now we got Houston. Now we got Gonzaga versus Georgia.
All right. You're going to hear me just like Vanderbilt. I hate Georgia. I grew up in a Georgia household. I am from the state of Georgia. Both of my parents went to the University of Georgia. I have never, ever liked UGA basketball because they're a joke. They're a joke every year, and they're a joke this year. Once again, just like Vanderbilt, home court merchants. They couldn't get it done in the SEC tournament when they needed to get it done. They couldn't get it done on the road. They're merchants. They are home court merchants. And I have liked, as much as Gonzaga has struggled this year, I love their roster. Like, the outcomes weren't the way that they wanted it to be, but they have such a good roster, from Ike to Nemhard to Battle to Hickman to Huff, Greg and Ajayi, and even Dusty Stromer. That is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 really reliable guys you can put on the floor to score. Like, I love the Zags, and even though they've struggled quite a bit this year, or at least earlier in the season, like they always do, they always clean up in the West Coast Conference, and they won their tournament, right?
Yes.
They won the West Coast Conference, and they're still the Zags, and it's still Mark Few. Like, once again, legendary coach. So I have to go with the Zags.
Gonzaga is one of 3 teams that shoots over 50% from the field, and with that, they shoot 80.1% from the free throw line. They're top 5 in both free throw percentage and field goal percentage. I don't think Georgia can keep up. I'm also going Gonzaga here.
All right. So now we have Clemson versus McNeese. Clemson's been pretty hot lately. How are we feeling?
McNeese, man, that's not my pick. McNeese is, gosh, I love Will Wade. I love McNeese. It's such a fun team to like. They are so good defensively. McNeese is really, really good defensively. Clemson's a really good team. This one is definitely one of the tougher games to pick, but you got Chase Hunter, who averages 16 a game on 41% from 3. You, as a team, you shoot 37% from 3. You don't turn the ball over a crazy amount. You shoot the free throw at a pretty decent clip. You can rebound. You can play defense, and so, and you're fairly healthy. I don't know if we have any updates on Dylan Hunter, whether he's playing or not, but I like Clemson.
I don't think Dylan Hunter's playing.
Oh yeah, he has a broken right hand. Okay, you're not gonna have Dylan Hunter. Dylan Hunter's not gonna play in this tournament, but um, the rest of this team is still very reliable. Um, I've seen him get cold at times. God, that Georgia Tech game was a nightmare. One of the few Clemson games I sat down and watched. They've had the worst game of their season. So they have a little bit of a stain on me because of that. But I'm not going to hold it against them, considering they proceeded to beat Duke the next game. And they're a solid all around team. Um, I don't know who to I don't know who to pick. Austin, give me your insight.
Clemson broke our heart last year, and so did McNeese. These are two teams that I had some level of confidence in to either lose or win. Obviously, Clemson last year I really thought was going to lose to New Mexico. And McNeese, oh man, McNeese against Gonzaga just got ran out of the building. And it was something that I didn't think was going to happen. They're a smaller team, but Will Wade's a great head coach. And while McNeese is not the greatest team in the world when it comes to shooting the ball, they only shoot, I mean, they're good. They're 35.9%. But, I mean, Clemson's 37. Clemson is also better from the free throw line by 5.5%. And then McNeese is better from the field. I'm a little bit worried that Alan Breed may not play in this game. He probably will, but he is questionable, or a game time decision as it has it. I'm going to go with McNeese State to win this game. I think they broke our hearts last year, and I feel like some people may go away from it because of that this year. But I think McNeese wins it this year.
I have heard nothing about Alan Breed. He hasn't played since the second game of the season. Like,
It says that he's a game time decision.
and the thing is, how will this team play when he's back on the court? Now, when he was on the court for that second game, they lost to Alabama at Alabama by 8, by single digits. That's already impressive in and of itself. I love McNeese. I like Clemson. I can see this going either way. And I've seen Clemson get really, really cold. But I think Clemson pulls this one out. Because Ian Shefflin's a great interior guy. Victor Locken is a very good interior guy. I think just sheer rebounding and interior dominance is going to be the difference maker.
All right, so now it's down to me. I'm gonna.
I know.
choose-
I know who Kevin's going to choose. He's a little bit biased in this regard.
I don't know. I think Brad Brownwell is a good coach. He's been with Clemson since 2010, but I think he's starting to have a run, and I think Clemson gets the win over McNeese. So yeah, I have Clemson. I'll be the deciding vote. Now we have Purdue versus High Point.
Oh, our old enemy, Purdue. Oh my God, I have a love-hate relationship with Purdue. The only thing is that they're kind of good. They're kind of a good program. Matt Painter's kind of a good coach, and they kind of have a really good starting roster. Trey Kaufman-Renn is averaging 20 points per game on 60% from the field. He also shoots 43% from three, but whatever. We'll get to that later. Braden Smith is one of the best passers in the game. He also can hit threes. Fletcher Lawyer, that guy can hit threes. He's at 45% from three? Something crazy.
Some crazy high like that.
Now, outside of those three guys, they got nothing. They ain't got crap. Like, Purdue has been coasting off of these three guys. And I think they could win against High Point. Now, I don't know enough about High Point at this moment, but I know that Purdue, outside of the one really bad year where they lost the first round to a 16 seed, they're usually reliable getting the first round completed, like, and getting through.
Here's my one concern. I have two stats. One, they're 4-6 in their last 10, and they're 0-5 in their last 5 games away from home. 0-5. That's at least concerning. And that includes losses to teams that aren't in the tournament, like Indiana. Some people will say they should have been in the tournament, but their only wins in their last 10 games are against USC, Rutgers, and UCLA. One of those 4 teams is in the tournament. I'm going High
Yeah.
Point.
And the thing is like I don't think you're crazy, because they're a good team. High Point scores a lot. They got a deep rotation, and they shoot very well from the field. And they might have the best names of anybody in the league too. They got Keza Gifa. They got Juslin Bodo. They got Josh Ibukunolua. So I'm going to go with High Point too.
All right, let's go. Let's keep hating on Purdue. Now we have Illinois versus the first 4 of either Texas or Xavier.
I think Jake and I both agree that Xavier will win that game. And I think we're both going to agree that Xavier beats Illinois.
Okay.
Illinois is young and very inexperienced. And there was like a 2-week stretch over like December extending into January where Illinois looked like the best team in the country. I kid you not. Like, they walloped Oregon in Oregon. And it was not even a question. Like, it looked like they were doing it in their sleep. But outside of that 2-week stretch, Illinois has been very, very lackluster. And Xavier is hot at the right time. And they should have beat Marquette in the Big East tournament. And Ryan Conwell is a god. That guy, Ryan Conwell, is a special player. And Zach Freemantle is an interior, is one of the best interior players in the league. So yeah, I have Xavier beating Texas, and then Xavier moving on to beat Illinois.
Okay. And then Austin. All right, so already have Xavier winning. Now we have Kentucky versus Troy.
This is another 14-3 that I could see going either way. But I was talking to Jake before I was saying that that there was a game, a 14-3 game I was really looking at as a potential upset. And it wasn't even the one. You can go check one of our previous videos that we posted. I ended up picking. It was this game that I was looking at. Kentucky is dealing with some injuries. And I don't know. I mean, Jackson Robinson I know is out for this game. And Kirk Krissa may be out. He's a game time decision according to CBS Sports. And Troy's a good team. The only problem with Troy, and the reason why I'm going to pick Kentucky, is that Troy shoots under 30% from 3. 29.9. And Kentucky shoots 37.4. And while Troy has been very good recently, they've won their last 6 games. Kentucky has struggled against some teams. They lost to Texas. They've lost to Bama twice in their last 10. They've also lost to Auburn recently. But I'm going to go with Kentucky. Mark Pope's a great head coach. And while he did lose his first game in the tournament last year, I don't think it happens again. I don't think Troy can shoot well enough from the field or from 3 to end up winning this game.
I agree. And let me give you some numbers. The top 15 teams, the rankings, when they were ranked top 15, that Kentucky has beat. The dreaded number 6 Duke. Then 7 Gonzaga. Then 6 Florida. Then 14 Mississippi State. Then immediately after 11 Texas A&M. Then at Tennessee. Then again against Tennessee. Then at Missouri. Kentucky knows how to win big games. They play up to their opponents. And they also have Kobe Bryant. Like, that guy can shoot the lights out of the place. And not only do they have Kobe Bryant, they have Amari Williams, who's a double-double machine, and Otega Owe is a phenomenal scorer. And so I like Kentucky in this game, and I like Mark Pope as a coach. This is not the same Calipari Kentucky that we're going to be experiencing.
Okay, so we have Kentucky advancing now. UCLA versus Utah State.
Give me Utah State. I've struggled to see what UCLA is truly made of this year. I kept asking and asking and asking for them to prove to me that they deserved to be in the tournament. Well, they've done enough, as Jake put it, to be relevant. They've almost done just enough to be irrelevant at the same time. They've lost to Minnesota in their last 10. They got blown out by Wisconsin in the tournament by 16. Also lost to Illinois, also lost to Purdue. They do have some good wins. They beat Michigan State in their last 10. They beat Indiana, who some say should have been in the tournament. But those losses against teams that they definitely should not have lost to just concerns me. And while Utah State is 6-4 in their last 10, none of their losses were against bad teams. New Mexico, Boise State, Colorado State twice. I could see Utah State losing this game, but because both these teams shoot the exact same percentage for the free throw, 70.3. They're kind of similar in that regard. I'm going to go with Utah State to win.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Utah State too. I just don't like UCLA. Like he said, and I mentioned this earlier to him, they were just irrelevant enough to be like the least relevant team. Like, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, I think you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
there's like, they don't excel at anything, but they're not bad at anything. Like, really, really bad at anything. And they're just like, they're not special. They don't have a guy who can get you a bucket. They don't have a lot of depth. They're like the definition of March Madness mid. And so and Utah State has at least shown a little bit of promise, and so I'm going to take Utah State here.
All right, now I'm assuming we're going Tennessee versus Tennessee advancing, right?
Yes, I am.
All right. Jake seems to have not given us a nod, so now we have Tennessee versus Utah State.
I think Tennessee's a better team. I think they win.
I agree. Utah State, I just don't think they have the chops to beat Tennessee. The Vols and Rick Barnes are a good program. As much as they've been disappointing in terms of Final Four possibilities in the past 10 or so years, 5 so years, Tennessee's still a good program. They're going to win this game.
All right, now Kentucky versus Xavier.
I'm going Xavier.
Give me the Muskies.
Okay. Xavier
They're hot
advances.
at the right time.
Now we have Clemson versus High Point.
I will take Clemson. If they get past McNeese, I think they can get past High Point. But I also fully believe High Point, with how good of a scoring team they are, could pull this off, and with also how deep they are. But for now, I'm going to stick with the safe pick and go with Clemson, because I genuinely, I'm very, very unsure with this region of the bracket.
I'm fine going Clemson here. I could see High Point winning this game, but I'm fine with Clemson.
Cool. Now we have Houston versus Gonzaga.
Ooh, okay. This one's not as easy as people might think. As great as Houston is as a team, there's a little thing we like to call history that tells us that Houston is upset prone. And as much as but also historically it tells us Houston's been a lackluster offensive team. They got rid of that. Like, they're a phenomenal offensive team. And I don't know what our update on Juwan Roberts' injury is. But he didn't play in the conference tournament, did he?
I don't believe so.
But he has an ankle sprain, I believe.
Yeah.
And I've had one of those. Those are hard to come back from in just a couple days. Now, luckily, they'll have an extra couple days for the second round for him to get ready. But Gonzaga is really, really sneaky because they have weirdly fallen to this 8 seed. Like just think about it. Gonzaga is always a top 5 seed. Always. They had a bad beginning of the season, and because of the lack of difficulty in their conference, they fell to an 8th seed. But that doesn't mean the talent is not there. That doesn't mean the coaching is not there. So I just want to open up the conversation because I don't know who will win this game. My gut tells me Houston, but my gut also tells me that Gonzaga is being severely slept on. And so I want to open up a dialogue about these two matchups.
I'm totally fine going Gonzaga here. I could see it happening, and I think it would be ironic if Gonzaga was the team to upset, because it does seem like Gonzaga has lost to teams before when they were supposed to win. And they've had multiple seasons where they're going to win the title, and then they don't. But that's the same thing with Houston. Houston's had multiple years where I'm like, that is the best team in the country, and it doesn't happen. And on any given night, Houston could lose. And while they are 10-0 in their last 10, they shoot 39.8%, second best 3-point shooting team in the country. This is more of a gut pick and more of a just feel it out pick. I'll go with Gonzaga to give Kevin the option.
Yeah, I think I'm going Gonzaga. Austin, you mentioned your gut, and I'm kind of in favor of that as well. It's kind of a gut pick for me. Gonzaga over Houston.
That's dangerous, y'all. That is dangerous. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's dangerous because this is the best Houston has looked on paper as a team that I remember going into the tournament.
I don't think so.
I think we say that all the time. It's like this Houston team's best it's been.
I don't think so. I think probably 22 is the best team in my opinion. The year they lost to Baylor, I thought that was the well. I did pick Baylor to win. I think that's the best Houston team I've ever seen because they were so. I mean, they were one of the best defensive teams of all time. Like they're extremely good at defense this year, but that year they were probably the best defensive team. I think I saw a stat that they were the best defensive team in college basketball history, or something very close to that, at least in modern times. But you're right. This is the best offense we've seen from a Houston team. But you mentioned it. We don't know if Jawan Roberts is going to play. And without him, who do you go to in those big moments? LJ Cryer has not shown up when he needs to at times. Same thing with Emmanuel Sharp.
There's a guy for Gonzaga by the name of Graham Ike. This guy is an interior god. Like this guy is the ideal big man. He's the Adama Sanogo of the season. And so I like Gonzaga in this situation. Especially if Jawan Roberts doesn't play. Especially if Jawan Roberts doesn't play.
All right. So now we have Gonzaga versus Clemson. What's the pick?
I think I'd rather train and go Gonzaga. I
think if you beat Houston, you gotta keep going.
I agree.
There's no way you can just stop right after. And if they're hot at the right time, they're hot. And this team is so talented. They're definitely more talented than Clemson, in my opinion.
All right. So we have Gonzaga advancing. Now Xavier versus Tennessee.
I'm going Xavier. They've been hot recently. I know they lost their last game, but Ryan Cronwell dropped 30 almost. Xavier's a team with some experience. Zach Freeman was on the team when they made a tournament. I'm going to go Xavier to win this game. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've beaten very good teams recently. They beat Creighton by over 20 points in their last 4 games. And again, I believe they should have beat Marquette in the conference tournament. And Tennessee worries me at times. They do. They really do. They've had some bad losses, some losses they maybe shouldn't have had. And when the Tennessee's a very snowball team. When things go bad for Tennessee, it gets really bad really fast. And I think that could happen in this game.
I like Xavier too. This is a senior-led team. All of these guys, every single one of their main players is a senior. They're experienced, they're older, they're veterans, and they're also just really good and really hot at the right time. So I'm going to take Xavier. Because like you said, Rick Barnes in Tennessee, they have this weird tendency to not come through when you need them. And I love the snowball analogy you made. Like, it really does snowball for them. Like, sometimes when it doesn't go their way.
All right. So now Final four pick before we get to our Final Four episode. Xavier versus Gonzaga. Who wins?
Give me the Zags.
I want to give Kevin the choice. I'm going to go Xavier. I want to give Kevin the choice. I can see it going either way, just because either of these teams makes it here, right? They're on top of the world, and I would say the year that no one expects Gonzaga to make a Final Four, if they were to make it, I think that would be awesome. So I'm fine either way with this, Kevin. But I'm going to go Xavier to give you the choice. I want you to have some power in this.
I appreciate that, and I was hoping we'd team up because I want to predict Xavier running to the Final Four as an 11 seed.
Okay.
Finally,
Man.
so
Another
see how it turns
11
out.
seed?
Crazier things have happened in March. It's March Madness for a reason.
That means the past
Just past 2, right?
3 of the past 5 will have had an 11 seed because of UCLA.
Yeah, but it's still 2 to last 4, right? That's 50%. So, I mean, it's a lot of 11 seeds have made it 4, and that's not something that I think getting that extra game in that Xavier will get, and also the confidence they'll build throughout. Now, yeah, I could see Gonzaga making it 100%, and I just wanted to give Kevin the ability to make a pick.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we made a lot of picks in this Midwest
I
region.
would like to point out though, only 2 first 4 teams in history have made a Final Four, and that worries me because, like,
but wouldn't it be the team that shoots 39% from 3 and 79% from the line?
yeah, but
Wouldn't it be the senior-led team that made it 2 years ago?
They don't rebound at a great number though. Like they're not a great rebounding team, and so I like. God, that Fremantle Ike matchup would be insane, but I love the sheer depth and the sheer variety of the archetype of player that
I will say this,
Gonzaga
Kevin,
has.
if you ever want to change your mind, Xavier's never made a Final Four. This would be their first Final Four appearance in their history, right? So, do you think that happens this year or not?
I think so. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, you're not sweating him enough, Jake.
No, I'm in favor of the chaos. I feel you got to take risks in March, and
I think having a Zaga or Xavier in your Final Four is a risk. I think it's just about choosing the right team, and I could see it going either way. Because Zaga, well, yes, I think this could be a year that they go further than expected. They still are they leave a bad taste in my mouth from past performances in these big games. When you get to the Elite Eight, right? Can they do it in those big games? So yeah, I mean, if Kevin's going with it, then we'll stick with it. It's a very powerful decision Kevin's making. So
appreciate it. So I appreciate the trust, and make sure y'all see our Final Four episode. See what picks happen when you don't know what's going to happen, as we did all the regions. So make sure you compete. If you think we made some terrible risks, compete against our bracket. The password is WriteYourStory, capital W, Y, and S. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.